please? For which movie?
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Let's address the elephant in the room. I'm the hottest person in the world.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business.
Rachel Zegler was just caught making fun of the fans that made her famous, which is something you never do in Hollywood. According to leaked conversations from a private group chat, she accused Disney diehards of being low IQ and cringe-obsessed. The internet is currently on fire. The calls to recast Snow White are more urgent than ever, and the boycott is real. You won't believe the source of the leak. And Rachel's career might have ended with what she said next.
If I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
I don't need your business.
X was struck by the group chat breach like a lightning strike. It began as a few hazy, unconfirmed screenshots that seemed almost too crazy to be true. But in a few hours, Disney enthusiasts had analyzed each and every word, emoji, and username. It soon became evident that Rachel Zegler was the source of the texts, and they were harsh. They cry over theme park parades while dressed as cartoon animals. I can't tell if they need therapy or a restraining order, she allegedly wrote. That was only the start.
Great, okay? Great. I'm honored. I don't know why I sound so angry right now. I'm honored. Am I a psychopath?
Several of Zegler's old pals, a former PR assistant, and a rising influencer who is said to have leaked it were all in the group chat, according to insider claims. The release wasn't accidental. Pop culture was informed by a source given that Rachel had been disparaging this individual for months and that the betrayal was intimate. She believed that everyone in that conversation was faithful. It turns out that one of them was filming everything on the screen. According to the insider, one screenshot in particular rocked the community. Rachel allegedly said, "Please, I'd rather eat glass than smile" at another sweaty dad in a dwarf costume asking for an autograph, in response to a pal who inquired if she was thrilled about the Snow White fan premiere in Anaheim. Within a day, the message was published more than 100,000 times, igniting a full-scale fan uprising. Replace Rachel and #NotMeSnowWhite went viral right away, with people accusing her of being ungrateful, elitist, and the worst cast member Disney has ever had.
No, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Yeah.
Weird. I'm a narcissist.
I don't need your business.
In an odd twist after fans began tagging Disney's official account and calling for her removal, Rachel liked a post that first supported her before liked it hours later. Now, some admirers believe her silence is a legal tactic. Some believe she's attempting to weather the storm, but with influencers, creators, and even former Disney workers adding to the damage, it might already be done. BuzzPop Weekly was informed by a former Disney social media strategist that you can critique the studio, the script, even the marketing. However, it is career self-destruction to target the fans, particularly the core fandom that purchases merchandise, attends theme parks, and supports these reboots. Even the most apolitical individuals on the internet, theme park TikTokers, started urging Disney to make a public remark.
The studio released their Snow White remake starring Rachel Zegler, and in the process shattered more little girls' dreams than Harvey Weinstein. That's why no one bothered to show up. Empty theaters across the country tell the true story about this crime against cinema.
While enjoying the vibe and excitement of the streets of London.
Conjectures concerning the chat leak began to circulate in the meantime. Some people think that this was a deliberate hit operation done by Disney to disassociate the studio from a bad movie without giving the impression that someone was fired. Others think Rachel's group is responsible for another leak that accuses a former assistant of deep-faking the screenshots, despite the fact that tech experts have already stated that the texts appear genuine. When a verified account belonging to a well-known voice actor from a vintage Disney film tweeted, "I've met Walt Disney fans my whole life, they're weird in the best way," the situation became even more heated. None of us would have professions without them. Disgrace to you. After the post went viral, followers began tagging Disney celebrities on social media to express their opinions. It's relatively quiet thus far. However, according to a widely shared tweet, Disney Snow White recently became the company's Titanic.
The lead actress of the film decided to sit in an empty theater so she can watch her name flash on the screen as she squealed that her film was #1 for 6 days.
The wildest portion comes next. The texts have not been refuted by Rachel. She has not made any remarks. No Instagram story, no tweet, no formal comment from a lawyer, only quiet additionally. Silence says a lot in Hollywood. Because this is more than just bad PR, if these leaks are genuine and there are indications to support it. This type of scandal causes long-lasting damage. Rachel Zegler believed she would become the next queen of Disney. She is now in charge of ruins. Her lavish fairy tale has turned into the worst faceplant in Hollywood. The theaters are deserted. Fans and critics are cruel, making fun of her as if she were from the Middle Ages. Because Snow White didn't simply fail, it collapsed with Rachel Zegler at its core. Disney's most outspoken and contemporary princess, whose statements might have doomed the movie before it was ever released.
Rachel Zegler was a bad decision from day one. She can sing, I'll give her that, but she's got a lot of power, but absolutely no range. Plus, on the flip side, she can't act, and she's a smug big mouth, which even Disney now admits they couldn't control.
However, let's go back in time before we plunge into the turmoil, since this wasn't always the plan. In the past, Rachel Zegler was Hollywood's golden girl. She won over hearts in West Side Story, won over reviewers, and quickly rose through the ranks. Reactions to Disney's announcement that she would be Snow White were divided. Yes, but the excitement was genuine. A new face and a daring course. She would be the future, they declared, but the future had other ideas. See, Rachel came out swinging rather than embracing the original's beauty and wonder. She called Prince Charming a stalker, the love tale out of date, and the entire idea strange in her critique of the 1937 classic. In interviews, she bullied Snow White rather than merely modernizing her.
Most importantly, Zegler is not fairy tale princess material. She is a four-flop phony and a pure Hollywood poison. Her first movie, West Side Story, bombed. Shazam! Fury of the Gods double bombed. Y2K, even a bigger bomb. And now we have Snow White, the biggest bomb of them.
She claimed that Snow White wasn't dreaming of real love or waiting for a man. She underlined that this iteration of the character wanted to govern and attain power rather than pursue romantic fulfillment. She went on to say, "God forbid a woman want to find love." In her own words. Many others found a line that was intended to be satirical to be chilly and contemptuous. She destroyed Snow White instead of reframing her. The notion that a woman could find contentment in love was seen as absurd, a holdover from the past that should be ridiculed. The audiences felt insulted rather than merely astonished. What started out as a fairy tale about magic and love abruptly changed to seem more like a speech about politics and the need for independence at all costs.
God forbid a woman dream about true love. We're all just sitting around here, oh, maybe I could be president one day. I hate men, I just want to be president.
Fastest way to tank your career, go out there and start running your mouth and trashing the original IP of the film you're in.
The feminist press applauded, however. The internet took off. Videos of Rachel sounding arrogant, irate, and downright contemptuous began to circulate. Her tone and facial expressions were just as important as the words she spoke. The eye rolls and half smirks every second was scrutinized by viewers, as if it were a deposition in court. Every clip seems like an additional shovel of dirt being dumped on top of the film's previously excavated grave. It appeared worse the more people observed. She was not saved by context. It became worse with edits. TikTok producers included reaction overlays and snarky remarks, while YouTubers published hour-long analyses that broke down her attitude word by line. Soon, memes ridiculing her were being shared by even those who hadn't seen the film. Rachel was the centerpiece, as what began as criticism swiftly turned into a cultural revolt.
Rachel Zegler is a loudmouth dope.
No, I've been getting a lot of questions about, how do I feel? Let's address the elephant in the room.
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Think about it. Disney just spent over $250 million for a fairy tale hand grenade that went over budget, got reshot twice, replaced real actors with 7 CGI serial killers, booted the prince, banned True Love, and banished 2 of movies' history's most iconic songs. One of them just happens to be Someday My Prince Will Come. It's gone.
Edits ridiculed her tone on TikTok. To increase the cringe factor, the creators inserted reaction footage from other influencers, added snarky captions, and overlaid dramatic music over clips of her interviews. There was an abundance of reaction videos on YouTube. On X, the memes were vicious, and some of them were outbursts, while others were complete breakdowns likening her press appearances to previous PR catastrophes. People devised parodies of Snow Woke's promos, spliced her face onto unsuccessful Disney characters, and even produced AI-generated comedies in which her persona is jeered off-screen. In addition to rejecting Rachel, the internet used her as a symbol of Hollywood haughtiness. Not only were audiences dubious, but they were also incensed, and this is where things become worse. Rachel didn't back down. Instead, she posted a TikTok sketch in which she entered a theater with a smile on her face and branded Snow White items in an attempt to get seats to her own movie. The theater employee played along with the obviously contrived scene. With confidence, she approached the counter, leaned in, and requested tickets. The camera followed the cashier's forced smile and slight pause as she reacted, catching the precise moment when the prank failed. What started out as a lighthearted, self-aware moment swiftly turned into online fodder. Online users expressed their desperation. An actress who believed that making fun of the movie would make it better since she was so disengaged from its failure there is no worse time than now. Critics were buzzing, theaters were empty, and this video gave the impression that she was laughing at her own failure rather than facing it. Rather than being humble, it seemed to be a deflection. A desperate public relations strategy disguised as a TikTok fad, the uneasy silence begins. She laughs it off while clutching buckets of popcorn with a Snow White motif, posing wildly and grinning as though her celebrity should be obvious to anybody with a pulse. The ironic film was obviously meant to make light of the notion that someone may lose her identity, but it wasn't humorous. Rather, it felt manufactured and cringy in the most embarrassing way possible. Many viewers saw it as a last-ditch effort to go viral, which only made matters worse. Rather than preserving her reputation, it strengthened the idea that Rachel was disconnected from the truth behind her movie's failure. Accusations of self-delusion and haughty denial flooded the comment sections. Originally intended to be humorous advertising items, the popcorn buckets now resembled props from a public relations circus. Instead of creating excitement, the video turned into a meme in and of itself. Another reminder of Snow White's decline because she didn't just do poorly. It plummeted. Disney required $1 billion to break even with a $250 million production budget, $150 million in marketing, and costly reshoots. Instead, it opened with $43 million. By week 2, it had fallen 66%. It's approaching $140 million worldwide, and that's being kind. It's more than just a bomb. It's a catastrophe, and the backlash became political precisely when things could get any worse. Lennon. Sean Rachel was referred to as a detached brat by John Lennon's son. Danica Patrick, an ex-race car driver, shared a viral takedown video with the words "goodbye." Like a sledgehammer, but subtle. The video also blamed Rachel for Disney excluding her from upcoming projects including Toy Story 5 and the Pirates reboot, accusing her of corporate feminism and TikTok activism. There are rumors, but they're stuck. The Trump posts followed. Rachel went on to characterize half the nation as villains, calling supporters dangerous, and wishing they would never win again. Disney remains mute. Executives became alarmed. Theaters remain unoccupied. The Disney machine was melting down by this point. Insiders whispered behind closed doors that executives were incensed. As Disney sought a scapegoat and investors demanded explanations, guess who was thrown under the bus? It's the same girl who claimed that audiences would queue to watch her movies like The Wing and Victory at the Louvre. Fans observed Rachel Gadot's stiff delivery, strange looks, and flat lines, but it wasn't just her who played the evil queen who was dragged. Now, the only lines are online people waiting to mock her. She and Rachel were said to be at odds on set, and then the actual firestorm broke out. Gal's Israeli heritage was offended by Rachel's political article regarding Palestine. The filming grew uncomfortable. Fans started picking sides as press tours became icy. Spoiler alert: no one prevailed. Critics, including Disney's own audience, weren't holding back when they criticized the film, calling it joyless, pretentious, and soulless. Claimed that it ruined the romance and lacked charm. Claimed that despite its best efforts to be empowering, it neglected to be enjoyable. Even the well-known song, "Someday My Prince Will Come," was dropped since it seemed that romantic dreams were inappropriate. Instead, fans were treated to a brand new girl power anthem that talked about feeling imprisoned by crumbling walls. Perhaps enchanting, but not even near perhaps the most surprising turn in this fairy tale, though, is what transpired following Snow White's failure. It not only destroyed Rachel's reputation, it shook Hollywood studios started reconsidering their woke remakes. According to Variety, Disney sources said they were reducing the amount of political content in upcoming films like Lilo and Stitch. A broader industry change was reported by the Daily Mail, with casting decisions being overturned, screenplays being revised, and marketing staff being instructed to steer clear of anything that even slightly resembled a lecture. All due to a single film once considered brave. Rachel's ego is now perceived as irresponsible. Her candidness, which was previously commended, is now held responsible for a historic decline in box office receipts. She did more than simply ruin a fairy tale. Perhaps she put an end to an era. Ultimately, neither a message nor a prince came to Snow White's aid. It was destroyed by arrogance. Although the audience created the story's harsh conclusion, Rachel believed she could change it. Please remember to hit the like button, subscribe for more, and ring the bell if you enjoy messy celebrity moments, flops, and industry shakeups. This way, you won't miss the next Hollywood train crash.